Good morning. Let's get this morning started and this day moving. This is part 5 of your daily reminder to help keep your mind focused on what you believe you want. If you haven't completed part 4, stop now. View and complete part 4 before completing this step. These daily inspiration messages are designed to help you better know and understand yourself, to enable you to realize and experience your truer self, and overcome your fears and delusions, so that you can realize and experience what you truly want from this reality. By now, you should have 2 lists. List 1 should be an ordered list of what you want most from this reality. For each item in this list, you should have drawn a circle or box border around the items that you have already experienced to some degree. Additionally, you should have marked each item in this list with a J, an I, or an L. List 2 should be an order list of what you most want to avoid in this reality. We'll get to list 2 later. Now, we are going to focus on list 1, what you want from this reality. If your mind is open and you're ready to challenge your beliefs, convictions, and fears, if just for a moment, it's time to begin part 5. Consider the following to be truths of this reality. Even if you don't or won't believe it, at least consider it. Statement of truth 1. Everything we realize is part of one or more engineered systems. This reality, and all things part and product of it, to include our shared universe, was created by one or more willful and intentful entities. Let's refer to this entity, or entities, using a one-syllable word, God. Note, the usage of the word God in this context has no association or affiliation with any religious doctrine or organization. In this context, God is simply a one-syllable word used to identify one or more entities that have willfully and intentionally designed, engineered, and created this reality and all things part and product of it. If you are a true atheist of conviction, it is not necessary for you to accept this statement of truth to realize the potential enlightenment of this step. Nevertheless, here's the supporting data for this reality being willfully and intentionally designed and engineered by a God. 1. If there is the potential for nothing, for no thing to exist, for there to be nothing, nowhere, how is it that something arose from no thing? Go backwards in time, space, and energy as far as possible. How did something arise from no thing? If it was random, how did the concept of randomness come into existence? 2. This reality is methodically, systematically, and patternistically governed and constrained by physical mechanisms. Quantum physicists in the field of quantum mechanics have reverse engineered many of the physical mechanisms that govern and constrain this reality. These mechanisms are the building blocks of all things in this reality. These mechanisms include gravity, space-time, the theory of special relativity, the theory of general relativity, the standard model for particle physics, as well as fundamental forces, such as the electromagnetic force and nuclear forces. These forces serve to bind and connect things, as well as repel, decay, and radiate things. How did these mechanisms and forces come to be? Why are they systematic and very mathematically provable and predictable? It is difficult to even imagine that such mechanisms and forces arose from no thing, nothing, without any will or intent to make them exist. Research in the field of quantum mechanics and particle physics is reverse engineering the physical mechanisms that govern this reality. If you do not believe in the existence of a God of this reality, an engineer and creator of this reality, and you do not challenge yourself to come up with a better explanation for how this reality came to be, would you consider yourself to be narcissistic? If not, does the existence of a God, a creator of you, fill you with anxiety or fear? The existence and concept of a God implies a being that not only created you, but is infinitely beyond your capabilities and understanding. This is not the case in the context of this statement of truth. You may be smarter than God. You may be more enlightened than God, your creator. Nevertheless, you are part and product of a reality that you did not create, nor did you create yourself. Even if you did create yourself and your reality, how did you come into existence in the first place? And how did you become capable of creating yourself and an entire reality? This statement of truth is intended to help you realize that there are forces, will, and intent that is beyond you, that affects you, and that has engineered and created you. Accepting this statement of truth will enable you to realize that you are not in control, that there are willful and intentful forces beyond you, and these forces are capable of changing and manipulating your reality. Statement of truth 2. All life in this reality has been pre-programmed. All life in this reality has been engineered, pre-programmed with needs to drive, govern, and even control behavior. We all need things, experiences, and sensations to survive and exist in this reality. We all desire for things, experiences, and sensations in this reality. We all hope for things, experiences, and sensations even when we know it's virtually impossible. We will still hope. If you are attracted to females and not males, if you like chocolate ice cream but not vanilla, those were not your choices. Your wants and desires were forced on you in the form of your DNA. Geneticists have reverse engineered many of the mechanisms in DNA which influence or control physical characteristics as well as psychological characteristics. Geneticists can now engineer and create life forms with specific physical characteristics, want specific things, and to behave in specific ways. Geneticists did not create these mechanisms which govern and constrain life. They are only learning to understand and manipulate these mechanisms, just as quantum physicists are learning how to manipulate the building blocks for all things, including chemicals such as DNA. Statement of Truth 3. All life in this reality needs to experience sensations of joy and importance. All life in this reality has been engineered with two fundamental psychological and emotional needs. If these needs are not satisfied, behavior will become more and more extreme until these needs are at least partially satisfied. If we go for extended periods of time without at least partially satisfying these needs, our minds will go into a state of despair, causing severe changes in our behavior to the point of risking our life and/or being institutionalized. These two fundamental needs are the need to experience joy, aka fun, excitement, and the need to experience being important, aka to be valuable, significant, to matter. All life in this reality has been engineered with these two fundamental needs. Statement of Truth 4. The feeling of joy is a simple, non-complex sensation that can be experienced alone as well as shared with other life. The sensation of joy is a fundamental sensation that all life needs to repeatedly experience. This sensation cannot be sustained for extended periods of time. It must be experienced intermittently and somewhat cyclically. The sensation of joy provides a neurochemical state to enable our mind to function more optimally, without stress or interference from other sensations which can short-circuit and derail our objective critical thinking and judgment. Statement of Truth 5. The feeling of importance, aka value, significance, is a complex sensation that cannot be experienced alone and can only be experienced through interaction with other life. Like the sensation of joy, the sensation of being important needs to be experienced somewhat cyclically. The sensation of being important can be sustained for longer periods of time than the sensation of joy. However, the sensation of being important creates a neurochemical state in the mind that is somewhat similar to that created by addictive drugs. As a result, repeating the same experiences tends to have less and less of an effect on self-importance, requiring new and more extreme experiences, which can lead to perpetual psychological and behavioral changes. These changes can create a neurochemical state in the mind that short-circuits and derails objective, critical thinking and judgment, and which can create a delusional state of mind. These statements of truth provide the potential for enlightenment through the realization that you, as a life form, have been designed, engineered, and created from physical mechanisms that are within this reality and that are not a random collection of particles and chemicals. There is will and intent behind the engineering and creation of you, your life. Furthermore, you have been engineered to need to repeatedly experience sensations of joy and importance, and these needs have been programmed into your DNA to govern, drive, and even control your thinking and behavior in this reality. Your specific wants, desires, and hopes is how your mind envisions, imagines, and perceives how you can satisfy your need to feel joy and importance. Now for list 2, what you most want to avoid in this reality. Regardless of the specific fears and experiences you want to avoid, list 2 is entirely about what you perceive to be a threat to list 1, what you want most from this reality. That's what list 2 is all about. It's what you fear will sabotage, block, or destroy what you want most. List 2 is what you fear, and just like the need to feel joy and important, fear is something that has been engineered into you, your DNA. Likewise, the sensation of fear can also govern, drive, and even control your thinking and behavior. Realizing these truths will help you live more of a life that you want to live. Understanding these truths will help you better understand why you think and behave the way you do. why you're doing what you're doing and not doing what you're not doing. If you can understand these truths, you can better manage your state of mind, your behavior, and your quality of life as a result. Take some time, hour, days, or even weeks to consider these statements of truth. Think specifically about your experiences that made you feel joy. Likewise for feeling important. Were you interacting with humans or with a different species like dogs or cats? What were you doing? Were you indoors or outside? What was your financial state at the time? What was your social status and state? Did you have an intimate partner at the time? What was your spiritual state, if anything? What was your outlook on life and your attitude immediately before? Did it change immediately after? If you don't believe a statement of truth to be true, please leave a detailed comment below. Why, specifically, do you not believe it? What specific examples do you have that disproves it in your mind? This is all about learning and evolving to become more of what we want to become. Doing it together and sharing it with each other is the ultimate goal of this Taisley playlist. If this was at all valuable for you, don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, comment, and all that stuff to stay connected to what's valuable to you. Coming up in the next step, part 6, we're going to test, prove, and put these statements of truths to practice for you. You will see how you can use these statements of truths to guide your decisions and behavior to live more of a life you want to live. See you at part 6.